a lot of people be like, oh yeah, that's why you got to watch out for that they just friends kind of stuff. But you don't have to watch out for people saying that they're just friends with the opposite sex if you're following a friend or fiance route.
Right.
You only got to worry about that if you're dating someone and then the person you're dating is saying that they're friends with somebody.
Right. 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 Right.
If you're not dating, that doesn't even apply.
That's true.
So for anybody who even leaves that message, or that comment under like, oh, you got to watch out for, those people who say that they're just friends, but they're, end up married like these two, you don't have to watch out if you're not dating.
Yeah.
If I was your best friend, I'd want you around me all the time. Can I be your best friend if you promise that you won't be mine?
Great times, great times.
Great times.
The crazy thing is though, is that even though our wedding was absolutely beautiful, I remember I used to say back then, it was like, yo, a lot of people would feel like this is the finish line.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of people would have felt like that the wedding is the finish line. Like as beautiful as our wedding was, a lot of people would have felt like right then and there that they made it.
If you didn't grow up seeing marriage, I think that they wouldn't think that.
I don't know. I think a lot of people worship the wedding over the marriage.
No, this is true because the wedding is an event. The marriage is the actual relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that because we like partying, we love events. We love birthday parties, especially women.
Yeah.
We love birthday parties. We love any chance we get to celebrate. Like we're there for it. And so I believe I concur with you in that regard. I think that more people put more effort into the preparation of the wedding than they do in the preparation of the actual marriage.
I think our whole thing was like $3,500.
Yeah, it wasn't expensive. It wasn't expensive at all.
Like we literally planned for it to be as cost efficient, but still beautiful. Like we wouldn't sacrifice the beautiful and the amazingness, but.
No. And we were super young. I think and then, I mean, take into account most people aren't getting married, I guess that young, if you will. So most people wait until they're older. And so maybe you got a little bit more resources. So would we do that today? Probably not. And I think it's like a double-edged sword, like the humble beginnings, if you will, but it was definitely beautiful.
No, sure. I would definitely pay $3,500 for a wedding again, as long as it's beautiful. I think it being beautiful and being amazing and love felt is what's the most important thing. If you don't have to sacrifice that, then I'll pay whatever, but
I agree with you. But
as long as it doesn't sacrifice the beauty or the.
For sure. I agree with you. But I guess, well, first of all, let's get it straight. 2024 is expensive. So that's just different.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be that. Yeah. And just, I mean, when you look at all the people who are, I mean, baby showers are super extravagant now. You know what I'm saying? Like gender reveals are super extravagant now. So the ideology of just spending that anymore. And that's why I think we love celebratory events, and just literally when you think about how people go all out, I don't think we would have stayed within that budget. It most certainly would have been absolutely beautiful, and with just the abundance of God's grace.
Well, whatever people do, I think that they should keep it cost efficient. Even if you have more money to spend on it, a bigger budget to spend on it, I would still try to keep it as cost efficient as possible. Yeah. And I say that without taking away the beauty.
No, for sure. I seen something
sacrificing the beauty.
I seen a research article that said that it was 51% of weddings that were kept under $1,000. Over 51% of those marriages stay together. However, those who spent $20K plus over on their wedding, they end in divorce.
Yeah, it's the scripture that says, where your treasure is where your heart is. Mm-hmm. And a lot of time we'll be more passionate about putting our treasure in the event instead of
the actual relationship.
Yeah, the actual relationship.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't think that anybody should. And I get it. And I'm like, well, if you got to do it. But I don't really think that that's the answer to anything. If you got to do it. Paying for anything. I think that you should always try to minimize.
I think it's within context.
The expenses.
Just because I've seen it done quite a few different ways, right? There are some parents who actually prepare for that day. There are some fathers, there are some mothers who they anticipate the day that they get to give their child away in the hopes and the expectation that this is the one time Like, you know, like they don't foresee divorce. Like this is this
Yeah,
one
but
time.
even if they did, okay, the parents said, okay, you got a $20,000 budget. All right, bet. How do we use 10,000 for the wedding and 10,000 for ourselves?
Which I agree with. Like some people are like, okay, well, I want a wedding. Some people are like, I want a house. Like again, if this were us today, it would definitely be like, okay, we're gonna have a beautiful wedding without breaking the bank, but we need to prepare for life after this event. So like, let's get this house. You know, let's stretch.
Well, not us, because we didn't know where we was gonna live at. Like as far as
We
like,
ain't know nothing.
yeah, we didn't know nothing.
Jesus, that's what
Yeah.
walking by faith is, y'all. We ain't know what's gonna be here. Okay, we don't know what life is gonna look like next year. So we just, yeah.
That's facts.
God got it.
That's facts. Yeah, it is crazy though. We actually refused to find a place like to buy a house because
We didn't know where we wanted to live.
yeah, we didn't know. Where we wanted
However,
to live.
had we really thought about investing, we probably would have leveraged that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially using the VA loan, y'all. So to my fellow comrades, if y'all are not utilizing that VA loan, you are not properly utilizing your benefits. Okay, I haven't told y'all, but I'm a licensed realtor here in the state of Florida. So if you or somebody like has not used that loan, please do. Please do. Go to www.jasminejane.com. Yeah. And so if you or somebody in Florida needs help, I got you. But seriously, like, had we known how to truly leverage that, my God,
Yeah, you
talk
threw
about
it
a
back with
portfolio.
the WW.
What?
Nobody says WWW no more.
What they say?
Just
That's JasmineJane.com?
yeah,
Okay, y'all, go to JasmineJane.com.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hindsight is always 2020 though.
For sure,
So,
always.
So when you look back, it's like, oh, I could have
would've
done this.
I would have done that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And could have known what you know and still did something different.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
There's plenty of things that we actually know that we still, like people in general, everyone, all
like
of
you
us.
eating McDonald's?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, if I would have known, but I mean, listen, we did a fast and I haven't ate it since.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
know, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's cancerous though. You know, it's just so
It's poison.
freaking. It is poison. You know, it's just so addictive. So growing up as a child, you know,
That's
I was just
that's dating. That
I
sounds
was
like dating or sex without marriage.
Yeah. Talk. Ooh. They don't like to talk about that. Yo, listen, I was talking to my homie. I don't know if he's ever gonna watching this episode, but I was talking to my homie and we was catching up. And he has a new girl and they're dating or whatever. I don't know if they live together, but I would assume that they not living together, but they're having sex at least. But and he's a man of faith, and then we just talking and catching up, and you know I'm talking to him about our story, and then I'm just like, yeah, and I just kind of felt like in my single time in my single stages is that when I was dating a chick and having sex with her, and wasn't married to her, I was stealing from God. God was like, you're taking something from me that I haven't given to you yet. You know, he was like, sheesh. So I'm just sitting here and I'm talking. I'm not even thinking that it might be convicting him or what his situation is. Right. But when I reflected on it, I was like, oh, maybe.
No, but I feel you because I was having this conversation, with one of the girls, and I was like, it grieves my heart. Like, it literally grieves my heart when I know that somebody's in a relationship and you just giving your body away just off of the ideology that this might be my person.
It's terrible. And what makes it so terrible is it's similar to, and I hate to make it so like dramatic, but it's similar to someone that is in an abusive relationship, right? Man or woman, right? And then giving excuses as to exactly why they tolerate it, and what it really is fear of not getting better, fear of not getting something better than this. Yeah. And living by fear, it only comes from the enemy. The spirit of fear only comes from the enemy. Yeah. And like we learned recently, the opposite of the spirit of fear isn't courage. It's the Holy Spirit. It's Jesus. That's the opposite of the spirit of fear. Yeah. And, it is really freaking saddening because it's like there's so much better for you. And what you're doing is saying, like, I don't trust God enough to wait. I don't trust God enough not to put this in my own hands.
I don't even think it's I don't trust God. I remember when we were, so it's that, but there's also, so let me just say
even if they're not thinking about it.
For sure. I agree with that. But I guess in to add on to that, when I was speaking to one of the girls, she was just like, yeah, but some people have really, really bad low self-esteem and that is their coping mechanism. I said, I can understand that, Jazz. I said, because, you know, during my adolescent years, like, I too suffered from low self-esteem. I said, however, I said, my thing was when I recognized that, like, okay, engaging in sex without marriage is unhealthy. First of all, it's unhealthy, period, right?
Yeah, for
But it's
sure.
unhealthy without marriage, without that covenant. I was like, because of when you take into all the reasons that you are making excuses and justifying this behavior, I was like, when that fails you, you can spiral out, and that scared me. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to react because of how I allowed myself to be triggered.
Yeah.
I said, and that scared me more
Yeah.
than leaning on my low self-esteem as
A crutch.
yeah. I was just like, no, like, I'm scared of, if I lean into this, I know that there's detrimental effects to that, but to what degree?
Yeah, and also as well, you can give it. We all got a reason or excuse why we
To
do
feel less
something.
than,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not to just feel less than, but to do things that we don't, that we know that isn't the healthiest thing.
Yeah,
We all have reasons.
to justify it.
Exactly. Like there's not a reason that supersedes another reason. We all have reasons why we sin. We all have reasons why we are imperfect. We all have reasons, just like even with the McDonald's thing. Like what I say, growing up, I was able to,
Familiarity or temporary comforts.
yeah, for sure. And it's tough because like I have some homies and they'll like know the route, right? And then they'll just still just like kind of like sit in the imperfection of that dating phase.
Yeah.
And then just miss out.
Yeah.
Just like they miss out on personal growth because what they're doing is saying like, hey, this area in my life is filled, okay, with one, my desires, and then two, the person that I'm able to extract my desires from.
And it's limited.
So there's no space for you right here, God.
Yeah. It's
You can get over here, but not right here.
Yeah. And it's so funny that we're having this conversation. So y'all know, from my Bridgerton folks, like, I absolutely love it. It had me in a chokehold at 2 a.m. last night.
Yeah, I walk in there, she laying in the bed watching.
So I have to go
I'm
back.
like, yo, what are you doing?
I have to go back. But for the
TV show got you in the chokehold.
it's
She
so
usually
good, though.
snoring.
I am. But for the people that get it, they get it, right? So, like, Colin and Penelope, another Friends of Fiance story, right? While Penelope thought that she would never be selected due to low self-esteem, feeling like she was never acknowledged, feeling like she was hidden amongst society, right?
Yeah.
She gave into writing, right? And that was her way of expressing herself. But that also was her way of being shielded from having to, I guess, compete with the other women, if you will. And so she ultimately, Colin was like, I'm going to help you find a husband, and realized that he was in love with his friend. They were friends the entire time, you know? And so it just showed that during courtship or during dating, you literally are only presenting your expectation, and then it's kind of like when that expectation is failed or when it's changed, because you have to leave room for grace. That's why I always say you have to be graced for your person. You have to be graced to love, because when they fall short of an expectation, or when the expectation changes, or when your expectation changes, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? But if you're my friend, I know you at your core, and so I'm willing to, I know your heart, right? And so it makes it a lot more easier.
But did they end up getting engaged and then
They got engaged, and so they got engaged. They fell short during the engagement. They don't too much talk about like God or anything like in the show, but
right. But you just said that last night too, talking about something they fell short. How did they fell short if they never expressed those standards of not having sex?
Oh, this is true too. So again, if you're not a believer, I guess that doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, you can't fall short of standards you haven't set for yourself. And I think that's what it is too. A lot of people aren't actually setting the standards for themselves.
They have ideas,
so they don't view it as falling short.
Yeah,
because they never set those standards for themselves.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, y'all listen, you know, our histories are different, you know, but as far as like our past, but I always tell people, like, it's not about if the feeling or the desire goes away, you know, then you can do it, right? I was talking to my homie, and he was just sharing something that he was challenged with, right? And we was just talking. I was like, yeah, bro, like all of us face that, right? We all face that. And thing is, he was like, yeah, man, I just, lately I've just been praying for God to just take the urge away from me, take the urge, and one thing, my response to him is that, okay, could you not do it even if you never stop wanting to do it?
If he doesn't take it away, because most of the times he won't.
Even if he never, even if the urge to have sex with people or to date people or to cross that line with people never changes, can you not do it even if that desire is never taken away from you? Can you not do it? Can you not eat that McDonald's even if that desire is never taken from you?
Can you?
I mean, I can do it. I can never stop trying. I can tell you that. I will never stop trying. Right now, I'm doing amazing.
You are.
And that's how a lot of people got to look at it, though. Is like they'll never stop trying. Instead of trying to like beat themselves up by achieving it or by falling short, just like, yo, I will never stop working on it. Because truthfully, before I'll ever propose to you, that was my walk. Even with sex, that was still my walk. It was even in the times where I did fall short, I repented and I never stopped trying, and I never stopped, and I got stronger and stronger as time goes on, and I was thankfully blessed with you and able to grow into our love even more and to reach levels in my own self-discipline that honestly I never even kind of thought was possible.
Yeah.
Truthfully, but it came from the persistence of never stop trying.
Yeah.
Never stop trying.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like if people valued the marriage more than they value the event, or even value marriage from a God perspective instead of valuing like, oh, I get my person, I get this person for me. I never really, and I don't think you viewed me that way either, but I never viewed you that way.
No.
Like I was getting you for me. Like, oh yes, I got this. She's mine. She belongs to me. It just never.
I mean, I get it in a sense. You kind of have to when the two become one. Like
I didn't view it that way. I just viewed it as.
Like, we
being blessed with it. Obviously, our route was highly different, but but that's why. But that's
so we
the
viewed
thing,
it. We viewed it from a mission perspective. We didn't view it from a like. For most people, it's purely relational. Like, what do I get out of this? What can you do for me? How can you make my life better?
Yeah.
But instead, like, we were like, this is bigger than love. That was one thing that we always said. Yep. And obviously, we had to grow. And I think that although we knew that it was bigger than love, I think that it also brought, because we leaned into that, it brought some challenges with truly learning how to love, like you.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, this ain't about love. This ain't about love. And so many times I know I can say I wasn't focused on love.
Yeah.
I was very mission oriented.
Yeah.
And I'm actually having that revelation in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, that's really good. That's real good. But honestly, I just feel like the learning how to love part is so much easier than the learning how to life part. I mean, I would rather learn how to love, right? Like learn the romantic side of things, explore that together as we grow, rather than exploring the. Okay, how do we build a friendship? How do we, after I'm married with you, how do we build this friendship? How do we build this partnership?
So you want to learn how to life first and then learn how to love.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. Because it's about lifing together. You can love anybody.
This is true.
You can absolutely love anyone.
This is true.
But you can't life with everyone.
No, you can't. You can't.
For sure.
You can't, which is that's a hard reality, but you can't.
Yeah. So with us, I mean, I remember even with us, we never did we did a reception, but it was very small and very straight to the point.
Yeah.
That's why it's not even in a video, because I remember, our family might not even know this though. I remember us like, yo, listen, We're going to focus on the wedding, make sure the wedding is beautiful. The reception, we just going to do it just so people have a place to go to right after. We're going to do it for like an hour, then we out of there. We wasn't rocking with nobody at the time. Real talk. We really wasn't rocking with nobody.
We weren't there long. If you saw, so in the video, guys, you will see that we didn't even have a bridal party.
What do you mean?
You didn't have any groomsmen. I didn't have any bridesmaids. We didn't have a bridal party.
Oh, I'm thinking you're talking about the actual party. Like, what is that called?
What do you mean? The reception. That's what you're talking about.
No, but when you said bridal party, when y'all was with your cousin and all of them, and all the women was together, what is that called?
Oh, that was just the night before.
What is that called? The women, people do that. They have a party.
So women have bachelorette parties and men have bachelor parties.
Oh, okay. So that was like a bachelorette. Okay.
Yeah, but not really.
But you're saying bridal party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we literally had none of that. So he didn't have a party of a groomsman. I didn't have a party of a bridesmaids. Like, we didn't have no flower girl. We had nothing. It was literally just us.
Yeah.
And even down to, like, we didn't have planned bachelorettes or bachelor parties. And I guess at that time, because, like, life was just so different and we don't have many friends. So, I know y'all listen to, like, Jackie Hill Perry. One thing she said yesterday was, like, during her she's on her, like, living her best life right now, which is absolutely amazing, and we love to see it. But one thing that she shared was, prior to getting here, she had like 2 years of where she felt like she had more friends on social media than she had in real life. And, like, although that wasn't us, like, because we were in such a delicate place with God, many people didn't understand it.
Yo, we were so disciplined.
Yeah.
We were so not even disciplined, determined.
Like, and if you weren't with us during that time, we were misunderstood.
I mean, yeah, misunderstood, but not by nobody who we needed to understand us, though. I mean, at the end of the day, where we were in a very loving, genuine, peaceful, bliss place, and we were not willing to compromise that, allow anything to infiltrate it. Yeah. So for us, I remember us just talking about wanting to keep it so simple.
Yeah.
So simple, because
it can get sticky. Like, you hear all stories about, like, bridezillas, like the bride going crazy, on her family, on the party, and then it can just get expensive. And I don't want to wear this. I don't like that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. For those of you who are dreamers, like I said, I wasn't a wedding dreamer. All I knew was that, like, nothing wrong with it, but I didn't want to go to the courthouse. So. But
that courthouse was out of the
equation. Yeah, I mean, so when we went to go even get up our marriage certificate, oh my goodness, I think we still have photos. This man was, like, nervous, was like
signing my life away.
He was, even when we went to go get rings, he said, "Take it off."
Yeah,
take it off.
And she just sitting there at the counter like, oh no,
take it off.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my goodness.
We have a counselor here.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah. But so for those of you who might get discouraged just because of the amount of pressure that you feel, not even from the person that you're prepping to do life with, but everybody else around you, half of them not gonna be there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, baby. I just feel like I'm a true supporter of keeping it simple and genuine.
For sure.
Because the genuine moments are the ones that your heart carries for a long time.
Yeah.
You can do extravagant things that your mind will appreciate in that moment.
Right.
Right. But that genuineness is a brick in your heart, and it just builds up.
Like doing whatever you want.
The genuineness, making sure that you're being intentional of a situation or a scenario, building it around genuineness, not building it around extravagance, not building it around showing off.
It's your expectation, not anybody else's. So even for, like, people who elope, I understand that, because that is your expectation. You don't want to deal with the I guess the opinion of others, and I didn't like this about their wedding. I didn't like.
Wait, what's eloping? That means just going to the courthouse?
No, like, literally just going off somewhere and getting married on your own.
Oh, okay.
What's
the definition of elope though? Like, what?
Let me look it up. But, like, my Aunt Trina eloped. Her and Uncle Kenny, they literally went to the Bahamas, and they went to the Bahamas, they got married, and they came back, told everybody they were married, and they had a big old reception.
I mean, what's the difference between just going to the courthouse and getting eloped? Like, what's the difference between the two?
I think it's location, but let me look.
Yeah. I don't know. I say
So to run away secretly. It says to run away secretly, especially to get married without parental consent. So I guess you can elope to the courthouse too.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't know, people. I listen. I'm gonna keep it real. I say keep it simple, y'all. I say keep it simple. I say keep it genuine because, yo, like you not about to. And listen, obviously your goal is only to get married once, and your birthday is every year. But you're not doing that for a birthday. You're not trying to spend that money for Christmas. You're not trying to spend that money on no other event. You know, and it's like, yeah, but it's a wedding, and I have this dream, and I know there's certain ladies that listen like, I ain't here trying to hear that. I'm just trying to boom, boom, boom. But again, like everything we do is connected to our heart.
Yeah.
Everything we do is tied to our heart, and feeling like you are that passionate about having an extravagant wedding and showing it off XYZ, that can be tied to a level of people pleasing. That can be tied to a level of needing, desiring acceptance. You know, that can be tied to whatever. So if you that pressed, you gotta try to seek out the source, and don't think that it's not gonna come up at another time. The worst thing that we can do is just do something thinking that, oh, this is just my era in here, and thinking that how we do something isn't how we do everything.
Because it's gonna resurface somewhere.
It will definitely.
It's gonna resurface, and it's gonna resurface when you least expect it.
Yep, and then you'll be right in counseling, and now you, instead of spending that money that you spent on that wedding for counseling, now you got to try to figure out how to fit the counseling budget in there. Honestly, that's what people need to do with money that they receive or set aside for their wedding or for their wedding. They need to take a piece of that to go to counseling.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it is you don't just go to counseling when something's wrong, which most people choose to do.
Right.
You know, it's literally
oil changes.
Yeah, it's literally maintenance, like marital maintenance.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we need to continue, but like it is literally marital maintenance.
Yeah. I really liked that last lady that we was working with, though. I feel like she was really competent.
She was great.
Yeah.
She was great.
Instead of like seeking out someone else, like we could either, like, I know we mad far from her now, but we could either choose to do once a month, or we could do virtual. Yeah.
Yeah, and so even in that, guys, you got to eliminate excuses. You know, like we found somebody that we actually really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
However, like there's some distance now. But like you just said, we can do virtual. So.
Yeah, we could do virtual, like if we can't, but we'll at least try to do once a month, because we can take that trip once a month.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And with our wedding too, like listen, I remember when we first got engaged, and then we started talking about the wedding, and then you were so pressed, and you were tripping, and I remember sitting on the phone with you, listening to you. You like, and then I got to invite this person, and what about these, and then they're gonna want to come and that, and it's like, maybe we should push the wedding back so that we can have more time to plan to invite all of these people. And I'm just listening to you talk frantic. I remember I was sitting in the car in front of Unc's crib, and I remember listening to you, and I'm like, because I'm not used to you sounding frantic, and as friends, I never heard you frantic. So I remember that was the second time I ever heard you frantic. The first time was a couple months before, when you were just graduated college, looking for a job. That was the first time I ever heard you frantic. And then this was the second time, and I'm just listening, and it's an experience for me. That's why I remember it so well. Just listening, and I'm like, oh, no. Ain't none of these people coming. Ain't none of these people coming. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go get married at the beach. So that eliminates a big group of people, because y'all, listen, a lot of people not going to travel, and I knew that a lot of people wasn't going to travel.
This is true, and that's why, because we're from two different states, right? And so I'm thinking about all my family back in New York. He's thinking about all his family in North Carolina, and then plus just the family that you, I guess, develop. Your friends, those family dynamics. And I'm like, oh my God, all these people are going to want to come. And because we were getting married in such a short amount of time, I'm like, well, there's not enough time to like adequately, I'm a planner. So I'm like, there's not enough time to adequately inform them, let them.
And you used to be a worrier.
And I used to be a worrier. I did. I definitely did. But that's also because like I'm a planner.
That's not why. No, you used to be a worrier because from your past, from your childhood.
Well, this is true too. But so so we ended up just agreeing on the beach, but some people still did not get invited, and they took it personal. But one thing I want to say to somebody who might be planning their wedding now is like, y'all, there's so much pressure that is occurring, like not that, and it has nothing to do with you. Literally, it has nothing to do with you. I have a one point that I actually wanted to. I said it's not a high time of stress, but your focus is stretched. And if you're stressed, you may need to reevaluate your attendance and or accommodations. So again, it's not a high time of stress, but your focus is most certainly stretched. And so,
But the problem is though, is the expectation. That's where the root is.
true too.
The expectation. It's like when we're expecting something to be a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes like, oh, why won't this thing? Like I was frustrated with the equipment. You know, it's like, yo, I expect it to just work. So what is the problem?
Right.
You know, and I think that's what it is when it comes to weddings.
It can be
like,
your expectation and the other person's expectations. But I want to say, don't take it personal. Like if you did not get an invite, like do not take it personal, because it was just us planning this, and actually it was mostly him, you know. And if you don't have a wedding planner, like most wedding planners offset those, but as we were talking about, like, okay, that's an expense, you know. And so, and of course,
yeah, fellas, you know, when some women might not let you take the lead, you know, with it because of their expectation and want things to be a specific way, and that's fine too, right? But for those of you with women that will let you take that lead, if you're capable of taking that lead, because sometimes that lead is just, okay, let me get some advice from here. Let me get some advice from here. Okay, these are the things I need to cover, and let me get help covering these different things. Okay, well, what do you think about the decoration? Asking somebody, whatever. Either way, I took that off her plate because I saw your franticness, you know, and because I seen you worried, and I wanted to take that component out of it. So one thing that we can say is that you did not have to experience stress on our wedding.
I didn't.
Or even planning it.
I didn't.
You know, you did not have to experience stress. Is not a part of the memory of the wedding.
Yeah.
And that's a big achievement. And not a lot of people get to achieve that.
Can say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge achievement. But the expectation thing, I was actually talking about like women turning to Bridezilla or getting super frustrated or angry. And I say it's because of the expectation of how you want the wedding to be. Yeah. But there's so many moving parts. And no matter what you do, you always have to leave room for divine intervention. Always. At our we got married on the beach. Ahead of time, we didn't know what the weather was going to be. It's impossible
it was supposed
to know.
To rain.
Yep. And
it was actually supposed to rain.
And it's impossible to know the weather 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
Right. We get out there. It could have been super windy. It could have been so windy that
it's a beach, a public beach. It could have been packed.
It could have been crazy. It could have been packed. Like you said, it could have rained. It could have been just super cloudy and muggy. It could have been hot and nasty. Could have been anything. You know, but it was nothing short of beautiful. It was actually more beautiful than what we could ever.
The weather was amazing.
I mean, listen, the water was super blue and turquoise and colory and clear, and the sky, and then the wind was blowing, and then the roses was red, the sand was white.
We got married in Navarre,
your
Florida.
skin was brown. You know what I mean? If y'all don't know where that is, that's
close to Destin.
Yeah, that's close to Destin. Yeah.
It was absolutely, and even just that morning, like we had I remember some of my family showed up, and they were just like the night before, they was like, so you don't have an itinerary? No,
the itinerary is we're getting married, meet y'all at the beach at this time, and the reception is right after.
And you know what was so cool? So I remember this, guys. So because we did not have an itinerary, and I think it was my grandmother, my dad, my uncle, and a couple of my cousins, y'all, they went to New Orleans. Like YOLO. They flew in, they drove down to New Orleans. So they stayed in New Orleans overnight, drove back, and literally got back to us 1 hour before the wedding. Because my grandma came to my room to help me finish getting dressed. And I just thought that was so cool. Like, I mean, where else will you get the opportunity to like have these life experiences, you know? But if I had an itinerary, that definitely could have took away an opportunity or a moment for them. And I just listening back, because that's just, my family don't do stuff like that.
But it was the environment though.
It was,
you know, it was the fact that like, oh, y'all lax? Oh, okay, we get the lax. Okay. Oh, okay, we get to treat this like a vacation. You know, it's not, I gotta do this. Okay, you guys were gonna come to breakfast at this time, we're gonna do this. All those things are cool as well, but we got these condos, you know, we all had different condos. It was dope. People stayed with each other. It was we went on boat rides and seen dolphins,
Yeah.
and all of it was absolutely amazing. And
It was.
if it wasn't for creating that laxed environment of like, hey, we're just here to celebrate this love, everybody, y'all do your thing, we'll see you at the wedding. Everybody was able to just do their own thing.
Yeah, and even
whatever
after
that
the
thing
wedding,
was.
like the reception. So we made it to the reception. I want to say we were there for maybe, I don't even know, maybe like an hour. And then, my family went out to our family, but I'm talking about like my immediate family. They went out to a restaurant and was just chilling and drinking, and like just like literally having cousin time. You know how it is, like when you have cousins and it's like, man, life is so demanding and we don't get to see each other all the time. So they were literally just chilling, like, and we had a couple drinks. And I remember one cousin in particular, she was like, I ain't gonna give you too much because like it's wedding night, but
real life,
yeah,
real life. But that's just the beauty of creating those environments where it's like you're not trying to like force everything. You're not trying to control everything.
Yeah.
You want to plan. In your plans, you want to include divine intervention.
Yeah.
Keep space in your plans.
Yeah.
For God to provide peace. Stillness, relax.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say though is leading up into our marriage, I think one of the most important things that I did, and I believe like God led me to do, is to close off all loose ends. All loose ends coming into our marriage.
Elaborate on that.
So like any flirtations, any women friends that might think that they could have ended up been the one that I was end up proposing to, anything, any like old relationships, booze, any of that, just having conversations with them to make it clear that either we're friends or to make the distance clear in whatever way that looks like between me and them prior to me proposing to you. That's what I did. I wanted to make it clear that no one was under the impression that them and I were anything other than friends.
Yeah.
In any kind of way, even secretly, like how people can have these secret ideas or yeah. I remember this one person, I actually had to reiterate that to her because we wasn't really friends, we just were cool, and then we were like building a friendship, but I had to let her know like, hey, like I just want to let you know that I have no intentions on this being anything but friends. She's like, oh my gosh, why you gotta keep bringing that up? That makes it weird. Like, of course I know that, like, why'd you gotta do that? And I'm like, nah, see, that's why I gotta do it, because it bothers that's why I gotta do it. And that was actually the last time I ever even seen that person, because I noticed that I was like, okay, nah, I can tell that it's more than what meets the eye. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I remember even in the longest relationship that I was ever in, the longest imaginative relationship, okay, we got to find a word for that. We got to find, because that boyfriend and girlfriend thing is not, we gotta find a word. No, we gotta find a word for that. It's something else. I don't even want to, my imagination ship. Yeah, imagination ship until we find a better word. We're going to keep working on that word, but my imagination ship, because it's relationship, but imagination ship, because God told me that, hey, you're going to keep playing house, or you want me to actually build a house that you can actually live in that's actually going to last a long time. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. I had to cut off, I mean, shoot, that's how you got me. By me letting God build this house. Yeah, that's a fact. But you see, the crazy thing is though, that's exactly how people be though. They be silent just like that too. They be silent. Why people don't like the truth as much? Why? I just want to know, why is it so hard for people to digest the truth?
I'm not people, so I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of feel like when I was just talking, you kind of felt like that I was like getting on. You know what I'm saying? Like not getting on you, but still using that kind of tone when I was addressing what I was addressing. And then it made you kind of do the little clinch up thing that people do. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, because I didn't experience that even growing up. You know what I mean? I didn't experience, like, I never experienced that. But a lot of people do that though. A lot of people are like overwhelmed with driving a point home when someone driving a point home.
No, it's just like, keep going.
Okay. I mean,
I'm got to process in real time, but I'm like, imagination ship. It is imaginative, but I mean, keep going.
You are playing house though. You are treating that person like they're your spouse.
You are.
You know, in real time. In your in.
I mean, we were talking earlier, and unfortunately I know a lot of y'all are not gonna like this, but like dating is really like a temp agency. You know, when we were having that conversation, and you're just like, okay, well, like how? Well, there's no guarantee that you are going to be permanent. Mm-hmm. There's no guarantee.
But you're treating it like it's permanent, and the challenge with that is
the hopes of, and you're showing up and you're giving your all, and you know you're overly expressive, and you're just like, I'll take what I can get. You have
that's a level of worship, and that is, and worship only belongs to God, and I'm able to worship you in our marriage through the filter of God. Mm-hmm. You know, now that we're married, I can worship you through God. Like God says, love your wife as I love the church. Mm-hmm. Right? So I can worship our love, right, by way of commandment of God. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But if I was to do that outside of marriage, I would just be worshiping you, in my desires,
which is dangerous. Yeah.
That's a little power. You just don't know. Well, so yeah, I would say just cut off all loose ends. You know, if whoever's out there listening, guys, ladies, make sure you cut off those loose ends. Mm-hmm. Listen, I even had to sit down and have a conversation, you know, with my imagination shit ex. Mm-hmm. You know, literally to not because her and I had anything going on around any of that time before I proposed, but it was just that we had such history, mm-hmm. and I had to make the distinction clear that, hey, like, I'm not the one that got away. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted to be sure that, like, hey, the enemy doesn't try to use this to make you insecure. Mm-hmm. You know, I was super passionate about that, and I believe that.
Good. That's so good. And men and women, for those of you who, because that alludes to, and although I didn't need that because it didn't stem from him, but when I revert back to, me feeling like I wasn't chosen, it's like, it has his decision on selecting who he partnered with had nothing to do with me. Yeah. Right. But I internalized that as of, I'm not good enough again. Yeah.
Yeah. The enemy seeking in. Yeah. And me having that conversation with her was like, yo, like, I'm not the one that got away. Yeah. I'm not the one that got away. God has your husband for you too. Yeah. You know, and we were not that for each other. Yeah. You know, so don't look at this like, oh, I missed out, and then the enemy's able to use that to make you insecure and make you make choices that isn't aligned with loving or trusting God.
And for those of you who like are just mean-spirited people, right? When you know that somebody has been dealing with somebody for a long time, and if for some reason you happen to cross their path, treat them with love. Yeah. Treat them with compassion. Treat them with respect.
Oh yeah, because y'all actually crossed paths in the gym.
Yeah. I remember, and I was attending a class, and I was like, I seen her, you know, she kind of looked at me and wasn't gonna say anything, and I'm like, if we're both going to be coming to this gym, like, this is not going to be weird for me, you know? So I was like, you know, it's okay, like, to speak. And I think I asked, like, can I give her a hug, you know, to kind of like let her know, like, listen, I don't have any.
Not your enemy.
I'm not your enemy.
I'm not your enemy.
I am not your enemy. Like, I'm rooting for you. Like, I don't know if you're married or if you're, you know, unmarried, but if you are, like, I pray that, you know, God, like, all of the things that we have, like, I want that for you too. And so for you guys, bitter women, bitter men, you know, who might feel like you took what's mine, like, no, they don't belong to you. Yeah. They don't belong to you.
Yo, it's just such a testament to, one, with us talking about how I was even willing and capable to have that conversation. Mm-hmm. And that was a direct reflection of my determination with seeking after God, mm-hmm. and having that in my relationship with God, and that oneness. Also as well, you allowing me to have that conversation with her, mm-hmm. right? And you having confidence in yourself and confidence in me to allow that conversation. Mm-hmm. And then 3, for you to see her and for you to have that response. And it's like, hey, I'm not your enemy. Obviously, y'all didn't know each other, mm-hmm. but y'all recognized each other. And it's like, hey, I'm not your enemy. Mm-hmm. You know, and obviously the gap was completely separate from even when we were friends. You know, her and I wasn't dating or anything like that. Which a lot of people out there, you know, I just gonna caveat to this real quick. A lot of people be like, oh yeah, that's why you got to watch out for that they just friends kind of stuff. But you don't have to watch out for people saying that they're just friends with the opposite sex if you're following a friend or fiance route.
Right.
You only got to worry about that if you're dating someone and then the person you're dating is saying that they're friends with somebody.
Right.
If you're not dating, that doesn't even apply.
That's true.
So for anybody who even leaves that message, you know, or that comment under like, oh, you got to watch out for, you know, those people who say that they're just friends, but they're, you know, end up married like these two. You don't have to watch out if you're not dating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also,
there's no secret competition,
exactly.
You know, from one to another. So.
But also as well, I don't think that we made it clear on any other episode. Even while we were friends, we were not in relationships with anybody.
No. By
the time we met each other and became friends, our relationships were behind us.
Yeah.
You know, so when we were friends for a year and a half. Yeah. So there was nobody else. Yeah. Just to, you know, make that clear. Yeah. Because we were walking this walk aside from each other. You know, with different terminology, but the same path. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 But you guys, again, the best way to do a wedding is the intimate way. Yeah. You know, go for intimacy. You know, don't try to make it this immaculate thing. As y'all seen in our video how beautiful it was, that's because God, like, we left room for divine intervention.
And that was 7 years ago, guys.
7 years ago. Yo, I love how people, when we're telling people our story, and then we're telling people our story, and they
think that we just got married.
Yeah. They think we just got married. And now, okay, yeah. So how long y'all been married? 7 years. Oh, right. 7 years. Yeah. Oh, so this thing is really working. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because initially people have this thing where it's like, okay, they're trying something, right? And because we're early on in the process, but no,
and we can speak from. Deep. It feels like we've lived like 5 lives, y'all. And as y'all listen, you will hear the various, I guess, ways in which we lived a life. But
84 months. 84 of them things. Yeah. 84 months. And if we counting the engagement, 90 months. 90 months. We was engaged for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you beautiful people, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. We appreciate each and every one of y'all that like and comment and engage with us. You guys, it really means a lot to us.
Oh, one last thing that I want to share that I know, a lot of you guys are like, well, where have you been? We haven't seen you. One thing that I was having a conversation with a fellow coworker, and I said, y'all, doing this is hard. Yeah. Doing this is hard because one, I don't know if y'all know, but I walked away from my job to do this, and we'll talk about that later. But the level of attentiveness, the level of intentionality that you have to exercise within your marriage, I mean, like, over communicate. Like, I have to pay attention to every little thing to make sure that, like, our energy in our home and our day-to-day operation stays the same. Because all it takes, and by the way, this is the 3rd time that we've tried to record this episode, right? The first time we had just had a conversation and the energy was off, so we was just like, okay, we can't record. The second and third time we were just having technical difficulties. Okay, so here we are. But it, like, because it is just he and I, and we're both in this realm of entrepreneurship, and obviously, like, bringing this content to you guys, we have to work extremely hard to make sure that we stay in a balanced place. Yeah. And so trying to do that from a place of career, if you will, or like goal-wise, relationally, spiritually, financially, it is stretching. It is stretching. And so be graceful with us. Keep us in prayer. I think we're doing an amazing job because we often just look at each other and it's just like, yo, like, people have no idea. And everybody, we get the same thing all the time. Yeah, I just make it look so easy. Bro, as we just told y'all, it took 7 years.
Yeah, but not only it took 7 years, it takes a lifetime.
It takes what it takes.
It takes a lifetime. And the thing is, too, it's not that, like, we can't hop on here because of our energy not being great. We can't hop on here while our energy isn't great because we won't have nothing to say. You know what I'm saying?
The chemistry will be off. Like,
not even the chemistry. We wouldn't have anything to say.
That's true.
You will be forcing stuff out, and then baby would have the disgruntled face. I would have the disinterested. You know, I would say something. She would be looking at me with the blank face, like just letting me speak, you know, but not really having nothing to say back. I'm looking at her like, you ain't got nothing to say back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For real, y'all.
So we're gonna always keep it real with you about our experiences, but
Yeah.
if we can't deliver, you know, then we can't deliver. So this is a living, y'all are living with us. This is a living podcast. This is a living relationship.
Real
This is
life.
a living relationship. This isn't something where we think about just topics and just hop on and then share things. Like this is our legit story in real time, legit teachings, legit truths, legit scriptures, legit moments, legit feelings, legit connection, legit disconnection, legit agreements, legit disagreements. Real life, you know. So I mean, it gets tough, but we're gonna keep showing up. We're gonna keep showing up, and you know, because this is bigger than us. Friend of Fiance, it's not our story. We just get to be spokespeople for it.
And as we always say, like, it's unique, but it's not special. Or do you say it's special, but it's not unique?
Yep.
That one, it's not, guys.
It's special, but it's not
It's
unique.
special, but it's not unique. Like, anybody can have it.
Yeah.
Anybody can have it.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody. And one point that I want to touch on, Joe, or not even point, just thing I want to say is about the whole wedding thing, since we are on a wedding episode, is how you act, how you treat that wedding, how you act with that wedding reflects how you will treat that marriage. You know, that's just what I have to say. Because if you are anal about that wedding, you're going to be anal about that marriage. You're going to be anal in that marriage. You know, if you're controlling in that wedding, you're going to be controlling in that marriage. If you're angry within that wedding, you're going to be angry in your marriage. For sure. 100%. You're not going to treat your wedding a certain way that you're not going to treat your marriage.
Yeah, that's so good.
You're not going to operate in your marriage, in your wedding, a certain way that you won't in your marriage. In your marriage.
Good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you. We love y'all. I love you.
I love you.
We love y'all.
We love y'all. All right, like, subscribe, comment. Can y'all talk to us in the chat? We want to hear from y'all. All right. So if you made it to the end, you the bomb. So we want to hear from y'all. Catch y'all later, beautiful people.
Bye, beautiful people.